what's happened is you've got an influx of all these digital nomads and all these, hipsters that want to.
When you go to Phuket now, you're getting such a high caliber of restaurants, such a amazing quality of food and things to do.
Phuket right now is literally in the process of leveling up.
Phuket generates more money than you can imagine. Get yourself in Phuket town. It's such a cool vibe there. It's one of my favorite cities. Bali can win your heart, but Phuket can win your future. Phuket versus Bali. Today on Asia Lifestyle Magazine Podcast, myself, Asa Marsh, and Julian Nevin, we are going to be comparing Phuket versus Bali. Julian has spent a full season in Bali and I've spent too many seasons in Phuket.
14 or 15 of them.
Pretty much. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare, because a lot of people ask us what are the differences and which is the best one for them. Personally, I would say Bali is more like a Burning Man on the beach. And Phuket is more like a Monaco with a mango smoothie. So
I think that's a good comparison.
It's a good comparison. All right, so let's dive in. Where were you staying in Bali for the majority?
I've actually been to Bali a number of times. I first went, I think it was about 12 years ago now, and seeing what it's like now versus then, just crazy. But 6 years ago, I spent 3 months on mainland Bali, which I was based near Canggu. I wasn't in Canggu. And last year I was in Bali for near enough 3 months again, but I was based on Nusa Penida, which is completely different to mainland Bali because it's a much smaller island. There's infrastructure. There's no hospital. You've got a very local hospital, but if you need anything if you need an operation, you have to go to mainland still. So those are the two different places I lived.
You've kind of done like the digital nomad thing all around Bali. You've done it here in Phuket for a little bit as well. As a digital nomad, which one compares better for you?
For me personally, it has to be Bali. And I would say for any young person and even a young couple, Bali is a really cool place to go. It's typically got, the label of being hippie, hipster kind of vibe, which is good because it's very relaxed and calming. However, having been here in Thailand, since I've been here, I feel like I'm noticing more of a trend of where digital nomads are slowly moving towards Phuket. But I would say primarily, for me, my favorite place is Bali.
Bali's more for kids and, adults that don't want to grow up. Phuket's a little bit more grown up.
Yeah, 100%. I get what you mean. So it's definitely more like a playground for sort of Bitcoin bros. It's definitely more sort of, I would say playful in that sense. You're talking from sort of business terms. If you're looking at setting up a business or raising a family, then definitely Phuket any day.
Phuket has over 15 international schools. Phuket has 8 major hospitals. Phuket has infrastructure, albeit it's,
Keyword infrastructure.
Infrastructure is massive, and people complain about Phuket infrastructure, but it's not as bad as Bali.
When I was in Bali last year, I remember being in Canggu and I was stuck at a crossroads for about 15 minutes because the Indonesian government haven't done a great job at improving the infrastructure as tourism has significantly grown. You had literally hundreds of scooters and vehicles as well, cars, where people would it was just chock-a-block. They had to get the military in to come and sort it out and start moving people around. You don't see that here in Phuket. Yes, you get traffic, but it's never that bad. The police do the traffic here, but they resolve it quickly and efficiently. And I wouldn't say by comparison that Phuket is worse than Bali for traffic. I would say it seems worse. It seems bad at the time, but Bali
it's not as bad as Bali. I get the fact that, digital nomads go to Bali. It's more of like a surfer's paradise. You get like the Aussie vibe there. It's all very backpackery. And Phuket used to offer that. But when you go to Phuket now, you're getting such a high caliber of restaurants, such a amazing quality of food and things to do. Like, it's a world above Bali, I think, for quality.
You've got nice kind of chic restaurants versus Phuket, which you're seeing more of now. You're seeing a lot more of the Bali style vibe coming over here, where it's getting that kind of, hipster kind of feel. But ultimately, Phuket is definitely more on the luxury side.
The beautiful thing, what I love about Phuket is the fact that you can go for that hipster vibe if you want to. You can go for that surfing vibe if you want to. You can have a nice meal if you want to. You can go out for a nice dinner if you want to. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got the options in Phuket, whereas Bali's very one track.
Like you're a nice luxury shopping mall, which caters to everyone's taste. You've got sort of your lower end fashion brands that don't cost as much, and you've got your high end fashion brands. In Bali, to my knowledge, there's not really anything like that in that size. So yeah, you've definitely got a lot more restaurants, a lot more options, a lot more to do here, a lot more activities. Obviously, Phuket's bigger, but also from a location perspective, you're not far from Koh Phi Phi. Then you can go to mainland over Saracen Bridge. I would say that although Bali has that fun, playful side to it, being in Phuket, you can still achieve that lifestyle here. It's very diverse in what it offers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One reason why I personally chose Phuket over Bali, because I was obviously doing this search as well before I moved to Phuket. And I just felt like, because I came here very young, I came here like, I think I was 21 or 22. And I wanted to live that, cool backpacker life and whatever. But, doing a bucket with a bonfire on the beach just doesn't cut it.
Yeah, 100%. It's, again, going back to what you were saying, if you're looking at leveling up, shall we say, and you want to take life more seriously and you want those luxury things in life, the finer things in life, the nice fine dining, golf courses, if you're into golf, you've got all of that in Phuket.
Well, we're talking about luxury and prices, and obviously Phuket is more expensive than Bali for a lot of reasons, good reasons. However, I wouldn't call it overly expensive.
I wouldn't say it's expensive. I would say it's definitely affordable, but it will cost you more to do those things because there are more things to do here.
Yeah. Right. The median price of renting a condominium in Phuket with facilities, with a gym, with a pool, walking distance to the beach, something relatively close to nice restaurants, the median price would cost you around about 20,000 to 50,000 for a nice condo.
Yeah.
You could go out of town and get something for 10, 15,000, but you're out of town. How would that compare in Bali?
I would say if you're in Canggu, honestly, the prices aren't too dissimilar now because the market has gone up, because so many people have gone there. So, the market has risen. So I would say comparison-wise, in terms of price and living standards, it's on par. But the quality of condos that you get here just absolutely prevails Bali. You don't see that in Bali. So, some of the condos, like you said, for only 20,000 bahts or 25,000, I think if you're looking at coming here to rent a condo, having a budget of 20 to 30,000, you can get a nice condo. And like you said, fully equipped gym, swimming pool. It's a nice life. You don't get that in Bali. Mainly small apartments or villas that you rent, and a lot of people co-live and co-share because that's
cheaper.
It's cheaper. So, but you're living with people. You don't have your own space. You're sharing the same kitchen and the same venue, but you just don't get the same standards of building.
Villas over here are worlds apart from Bali. Villas, they look really Instagrammable in Bali, but they're not built to last.
We can say that for certain as well, because we've done a lot of videos in villas. So yeah, some of the villas that we've been to are just, you're talking like LA, Hollywood style villas here in Phuket that are just premium luxury.
One thing I would say about Phuket is they've really got the construction down to a T. You can't complain about a well-built property in Phuket. There are some badly built ones, but that's why you need a good agent.
But I think the badly built ones are slowly fizzling out because people are seeing the new level of construction that's taken place. So people are realizing that actually, this particular brand is not as good as this other brand. So I think people are starting to see that. And I think you're seeing the medium-sized construction companies and development companies, they're starting to really, really ramp up their reputation.
With Phuket in general, I think there's more options for somebody who wants to grow. If you're looking to move to Asia and you're doing the Google Phuket versus Bali, I think there's a lot more opportunity in Phuket for a newcomer, but I think that Bali would offer a much more fun start to Asia.
I absolutely agree. And it's good to experiment and see where you prefer. But I would say if you're looking to come to Phuket, just explore Bali, go there for a month, and then you get the feel, you get to understand kind of what Bali's about. And I think you're right. I think if you go to Bali and then come to Phuket, you then realize I know I said I prefer Bali, but that's just from the fun perspective. It is cool. But I think once you do come to Phuket, you see the opportunities here.
Of course.
There's so many opportunities here. And like you said, if you're wanting to possibly buy a condo or buy a villa, you're spoiled for choice here. And now's the time to get into the market here. Bali's already had it. Bali's been and gone. Everything's high because, it's already had its pump. And people are actually moving away from Bali now. People are actually coming from Bali to Phuket. Now, a lot of people are going back to the West. A lot of people are moving to Portugal as well. A lot of digital nomads. Big trend there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd done 10 years in Spain. And obviously Portugal was on the visitation list kind of thing. Yeah, but I wouldn't go back to Europe after being in Asia for so long. Talking about accommodation, cost of living, and I think the prices are coming up similar. Phuket does get a reputation for being more expensive than other parts of Thailand and other parts of Asia, but it's still cheaper than Singapore by a country mile.
Yeah.
However, I think if you've got the money to move, do it properly. Go to Phuket.
Yeah.
Like really, if you're going to set up shop, Phuket's the only option for me anyway.
Yeah. I think if you're looking to grow a business and to make something of yourself, or you've got that entrepreneurial mindset, then Phuket is a better place for it. I mean, Bali's got, if you're looking at becoming an entrepreneur or you work freelance, then Bali's great for that. But you can really change your life, I feel, more here in Phuket because there's a different type, a different caliber, should we say, of people. Phuket is super wealthy. People don't realize this, and it generates more money than anywhere else in Thailand, I believe.
Yeah, I mean,
which just shows that you're the kind of people you're dealing with.
It's worlds apart from the entire country. Phuket generates more money than you can imagine. And the reality is that when people are looking at places like Thailand to live, coming from Europe, they think Thailand's a third world country. It's really not. No. Yes, there are class differences. There are a lot of haves and have-nots, but you don't see poverty like you do in the UK. It's different. People are happy here. The culture allows for people to be more content and not get on a vibe that they're so hungry they're going to rob people. It's so safe in Phuket. It's unreal.
It's so funny, isn't it? Because that is literally the perception of Thailand and Asia, that it's very unsafe. I mean, Thailand, since I've been here, it's super safe. The other day, I left my motorbike outside 7-Eleven, outside my condo, and I left my helmet there for 2 days. I left the bike because I was like, I'm not using it.
And you've got a fancy helmet as well.
Yeah, I've got a nice fancy helmet. And I was like, oh, maybe someone might have taken it. And I went back and it was still there.
Yeah.
In Bali, I would know that probably would have been taken. You do not leave your helmet on your bike.
In England, that would have definitely been taken.
You do get crime here in Thailand, you get crime in Indonesia, you get crime in the UK, but you don't see young teenagers running around with knives, taking each other's lives. You don't get that kind of gang crime here. I think since being here, there hasn't been a moment where I've thought to myself, I'm in a dangerous situation or I'm unsafe.
I've only felt a little bit unsafe whilst traveling in, very, very small circumstances. I've never had that in Thailand. When it comes down to people choosing Phuket as a destination, the biggest selling point for me would be the international airport. The access is just, you're spoiled for choice.
Yeah.
Bali, not so much, if that makes sense. Visas.
Actually, talking about visas, I think one of the reasons that people are leaving Bali and coming to Thailand is because of the GTV. It's a 5-year, work visa, but workation visa they call it. And yeah, that's a massive selling point at the moment for digital nomads. They can come and spend, I think it's a maximum of 180 days, and you can renew you can get your visa extended by an additional 180 days at an office. And that visa lasts for 5 years. It's incredible. I think Indonesia only offers a 2-year visa.
Yeah, I mean, you're spoiled for choice with visas in Thailand. There's a long list of options. Visa on arrival is a really good thing for travelers. And the idea behind shortening it is the fact that you're in, you're out, and you spent your money, you're gone. You're not staying for a long time on a budget. You're in, you're out, and you're spending all your money. I get the thinking behind it. However, I think that if you're going to do visa options like Thailand's doing, long-term visas, then you're spoiled for choice. You can get an educational visa, go to an educational establishment, you can learn Thai cooking, you can learn Thai language, you can even study English and get a visa for basically an education visa. It's not a bad option. You've got all of these things for young people. If you're over 50, you can get a retirement visa. All they ask is you've got a little bit of money in the bank. You can look after yourself. You're not going to be, dependent on the Thai government for anything. And that's not a huge ask. And then obviously you've got the elite visa, which is still relative. Arguably, I still have clients buying the elite visa from my company. And it's basically you pay 900,000 baht and you've got 5 years. And it's just for the people with money. And just don't worry about it. You pay, you stay. There's no messing about. You get lots of VIP perks. There's pickups and expedited everything. Yeah. It's a lot of money though. But if you've got that kind of money and you don't want to mess about with visa offices and this and that, then that's still an option.
Believe me, if I had the money, I would absolutely pay for an elite visa because it just, like you said, it saves a hassle. You get luxury treatment. You don't have any problem when you go to immigration.
Serious?
At the airport. It's just okay, fair enough. Off you go.
One thing I would say is the elite visa is not for everybody. DTV would be a great choice for someone on a budget. The LTR visa, that's pretty cool as well. And we've got connections with visa agencies and visa agents, and they throw all these options. But the easiest one for me that I recommend is, okay, if you got the money, pay to play. If not, go for the DTV if you can and do like an educational course attached to it, because you'll learn something whilst you're here. It's well worth it.
Thailand's also a great place to set up a business as well. So if you are looking at moving here and becoming a digital nomad, there's a lot of incentives actually for startups here in Thailand. They've got the BOI scheme where you can actually get 100% foreign ownership of your company. If you're approved, of course, you have to go through the application process and you have to have a business model that suits the application. But
there's a massive misconception about BOI and there's massive misconception about setting up a company in Thailand. You can set up a limited Thai company with 51% shares owning to a Thai person as a minimum, and then you own 49%. It doesn't mean that you don't have a controlling share. If you have 2 Thai shareholders or 2 Thai elements with the 51% and you own 49%, you are the controlling majority. You are the signing director. It's your company. And yes, there's a Thai element to it, but that's what the majority go for. Then if you were to go for a BOI, you have to qualify to go for a BOI. So BOI stands for Board of Investment, and Board of Investment is basically saying, come to Thailand, do your startup, register the company in here, and it becomes a Thai enterprise, but foreign owned. I had a friend who started a BOI company in the beginning, and he was a really smart cookie. He's from Italy. We'll probably get him on the podcast one day. He's a cool guy. But he designed a water-saving component in washing machines, and he designed this incredible water-saving component. It's now all across every single washing machine that we use today, but he patented it in Thailand. And that's how he got his BOI company. And he's got 100% foreign owned. He's got tax incentives. But you have to qualify, like bring a tech idea, bring a patent. There's loads of ways to do it.
Well, with the BOI, you can actually get 100% foreign ownership on land as well.
Yeah.
So that's why the digital tech element comes into play with the BOI, because people obviously, I guess, would take advantage of that opportunity to buy land. So you can own a real estate company, but there needs to be an additional service that you offer that isn't just, the purpose of you buying land through the scheme.
Yeah, so a lot of people have this misconception that you can't buy land in Thailand. You can lease land, which is no problem. And if you have a legitimate company, that company can buy the land, but it needs to be a real company. It can't just be set up to buy the land. It needs to be a real company. That company owns the asset and the director could live there. But if you're going to go, if you're going to compare apples for oranges, I think Phuket gives you much more growth opportunity.
Yeah,
Bali
absolutely.
has a lot of growth potential, but it's so far away from actually being coherent because of the challenges that Bali have created themselves. I mean, they've really created themselves. The infrastructure is almost unfixable. Phuket's chokes on a high season. I get it. Like, the roads are busy, but we've still got hospitals. We've still got schools. We've still got highways. We've still got decent enough traffic lights, all right, some of them are 5 minutes, but they're still working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bali just doesn't have that.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Absolutely. The infrastructure and everything here in Phuket, it is better than Bali. Bali's great because it's fun, and the reason I prefer it at the moment is just because of the position I'm in. I'm still relatively young, meeting people in the startup phase and the startup journey. It's exciting. It's a young crowd over there at the moment. However, for someone like yourself that has a family, Phuket absolutely tops Bali. If I had a family, I would never consider living in Bali with a family, purely because the infrastructure isn't there. I wouldn't consider buying a property in Bali. I'd rather buy over here in Phuket because, the economy is better here, it's bigger. I would say the quality of the building is better. There's more boxes that are ticked here for Phuket for the majority of people that are looking to relocate to Asia. But obviously, that's just my opinion and your opinion, and whoever is watching this should definitely do their own research and go to Bali for a month and see how you feel.
Yeah.
It's not a long flight either. It's a great place to go on holiday if you live here.
I mean, Bali can win your heart, but Phuket can win your future.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that if you're going to look for a base of operations, I think Phuket all day long. As an entrepreneur, though, I would say that Phuket is genuinely or generally end of line for people. They've made their money. They're coming to settle in Phuket. If you're going to start a business or you're really going for tech startup phase, then Bangkok, Ho Chi Minh, those are massive options. But if you don't want that hustle bustle life, and we are comparing Phuket versus Bali in this video, I would definitely say Phuket more. But if you want more hustle bustle, then for networking, it's not the same as Bali, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in Bali, you can pick up a group of friends like that. Phuket, you'll pick up a group of friends. It's not an issue, but don't get me wrong, everyone's a little bit more formal here, if that makes sense.
That's been one of my challenges since being here, is trying to network with the right people. It is a bigger place. Everything's more spread out. Co-working spaces here are becoming popular, and there are co-working spaces, but as a whole, you could go to there's many cafes. Bali's quite condensed really in terms of if you're going to live somewhere, it's going to be Canggu, and it's very condensed. There's lots of people there, so you have got more opportunity to meet people. So it is harder here in Phuket, but having said that, there's better opportunities here because you've got people who are established. You've got tons of investors, people, like I said, the money you got. So, if you want to find investment, then Phuket is also possibly a better option for that.
I mean, finding investment in Phuket it's really doable. If you've got a good idea, there's a lot of people with money here. It's not rocket science. You're not going to find it on the beach in Bali. You're not going to find an investor,
not at all.
But you might find an investor on the beach in Phuket.
Yeah, it's very true. Absolutely.
I've had so many random conversations in a beach bar, and yeah, we've ended up doing some business together.
That's how you've met half your clients, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, Phuket's been kind to me, really kind. Bali, not so much. I didn't feel old in Bali, but I feel like it's not the same.
Yeah, you're also a family man, and Bali like I said, it's not family orientated. If you have a family, go to Bali on holiday. But personally speaking, I wouldn't live in Bali with a family. I'd rather live here in Phuket. Like we've already discussed, you've got the hospitals, you've got the schools, which is a huge advantage, especially for a family because you're raising kids.
Sure.
You know, you're spoiled with international schools, and just the general infrastructure. You've got the mall, which has a range of different restaurants, which is great for taking the kids out. You've got the cinema inside of there as well. You know, there's loads more to do here as a family than there is in Bali.
What would you say are the key things that people need to know before they go to Bali?
Oh, good question. I think in any country, the number one thing you need to learn to do is understand the culture, because you can really do, it can be something minor, but it can be a huge thing. Like, you know, here in Thailand, defamation's a massive thing. It's against the law. And also they're very, you know, internal, quiet people, being loud and erratic, like, you know, most of the tourists coming over they don't like that. It's disrespectful to their culture. They aren't like that. They don't like loud, noisy people. And I think culture is the number one thing. If you're going to Bali, I think be mindful that it is a younger crowd. It's more of a place to go and party, to, you know, maybe work on your fitness. You're not going to have high-end luxury restaurants and be spoiled for choice like you are here in Phuket.
One massive misunderstanding that we get a lot of is cultural understandings and what's polite and not polite. And the biggest thing that people don't understand is, even though Thailand is very free and carefree and forgiving, for example, lots of opportunities and stuff, but there are certain things that tourists need to understand when they are here. Public displays of affection are not normal in Thai culture. Okay, on certain streets, and we all know what they're called, there's lots of public displays of affection. However, in general, when you're not in those places, people should definitely cover themselves appropriately.
Yeah, that really irritates me because I know this about the culture. So seeing tourists walking around topless inside of restaurants and walking into shops topless, and, you know, possibly not knowing about the right attire to wear to a temple, those kind of things really irritate me because, okay, yes, in Spain might be completely fine, but you're disrespecting the culture. You never see a Thai person walking around without their t-shirt on anywhere.
Did you know it's illegal to drive your motorbike?
I did.
Without a t-shirt?
Yes. And again, tourists don't know this. Just one of those things that before you go anywhere, you just have the courtesy to look online at the place you're going to. It's Asia. The culture is completely different to the West. Just do a bit of research. We're spoiled with choice. You've got the internet, you know, it's not hard. And I think another factor to consider is also trying to learn the basic language, the basics, you know, hello, goodbye, thank you. Just those things just shows that you respect the culture. But you also see a different, I think with the lack of disrespect, it's more aimed at the kind of tourists that we were discussing earlier. They're not really traveler minded. They're here for the wrong reasons. They're not here to see Thailand. They're not here to immerse themselves in the culture. They're here for one thing and one thing only, and that's the party. And that's where you're seeing this kind of new crowd kind of flock to really quickly. And it's typically those people that give tourists a bad name.
I wouldn't call it a new crowd. I'd call it a more prevalent crowd.
Yeah.
But more visible than before. However, you know, wearing a shirt in public, that's polite. Covering yourself in the UK is normal as well. Come on, like it's just because you're on holiday and it's hot doesn't mean you can take your shirt off.
Yeah.
For a party place, it sounds great. And Phuket's got the party as well.
Of course.
But for long term,
it depends on what you want, you know, like if you want a really crazy wild night out, then Bangalore Road is going to be where you're going to go. However, if you want more of a sophisticated night, then Phuket Town is a much better option. You've got some very nice bars, restaurants, you know, that's where Phuket again tops Bali because it caters to the different, demographics, different people, and their taste and what they like.
Yeah, yeah. So Phuket now is gearing up for more long stay travelers, building more and more condominiums. And yes, there's hotels in Phuket, but what people don't realize is that Phuket's gearing up for more Westerners to actually live here long term and sustainably in these really high quality condominiums. I don't think Bali's there with the high quality accommodation.
And I think that's why you're seeing people leave Bali, because they got there at the beginning of the hype and they've done their few years there and they realize the longevity of it just isn't sustainable. If you're looking to buy, it's hard to buy over there now because it's all overpopulated, it's all condensed. They don't have high-rise condos like you get here in they don't have high-rise condos like you get here in Phuket. Bali's good just for a few years as a playground, but then I think that's why you're seeing people come here, because they've had their time there and now they're relocating to Thailand because of the visa. There's better opportunities. If they're in the position to buy, Phuket's a better place to buy. It's more stable. The economy's growing. The infrastructure's there. Even right now, they're redoing all the power lines everywhere, putting up new piles for the cables. I think the government are looking at spending 365 million Thai baht, or investing 365 million Thai baht into the roads and the infrastructure here. They're looking at starting it. I believe they've also got a 40 million top up as well in case they overspend. And that just shows that if they're investing, they see the growth, they see the opportunities, they see the potential. They're building a secondary international airport. They're ticking all the boxes, and that's one thing that Thailand is really good at in comparison to Indonesia and Bali in particular. Because, I know in Bangkok, I don't know if they're planning on doing it here, but building 2-level roads and highways to really help people get further quicker, sooner, and more efficiently.
Building highways, like leveled highways in Phuket, is really controversial. Traditionally, they don't want to build high-rise highways or overground highways, and the reason being is because they want to keep Phuket's beauty. It would solve the traffic issue in an instant, though. However, I understand their reasons for not doing it.
I agree. I think from a visual perspective, it's not appealing. It's not nice. And my point there was just that the government is great at reacting to the infrastructure and meeting demand, whereas Bali just hasn't done any of that. Like I said, I went 6 years ago and I went last year, and I hadn't seen any improvements whatsoever.
Wow.
None. All I've seen is just way more tourists, way more digital nomads, a lot more co-working spaces, a lot more vegan restaurants and gyms. They have nothing has changed in terms of infrastructure, which is just mental to think, because Phuket right now is literally in the process of leveling up.
It's leveling up every year. There are a lot of long-term expats that have lived in Phuket leaving because the changes for them are not what they signed up for. And I understand that. Their budget might not allow, or they just don't like the amount of people that are coming here. However, buying a property in Phuket is never a bad decision, because you can always rent it out, and you could literally go to another part of Thailand and live for a lot cheaper off the rent of your property in Phuket. Owning a property in Phuket, your earnings from that, you're taxed on your earnings. It's very fair, and it's a sliding scale. If you own a lot of properties, your tax is higher. If you own 1 or 2 properties, obviously you're in a certain tax bracket. But buying a property in Phuket, for example, is one of the best investments that I see, because it's only getting better.
Yeah, and I mean, you go up to the north of the island, and there's a lot of development that's starting to happen up there.
Yeah,
I feel like, again, it's going to transition in the north to a more luxury, even more premium kind of part of Phuket, so that you've got like the south Rawai is very co-working space. It's got the Balinese feel to it.
That's what I was going to say. Rawai is Bali, but the Bali version of Phuket.
It's a more luxury Bali. It's a mini Bali, and it's great. It's good. And at the moment, there aren't too many people down there. It's a nice place to live. You're right by the beach. So it's funny because you do have your regions in Phuket that people live. If you've got money, you're going to be kind of Laguna area, Bang Tao area.
Bang Tao. If you got money, it's Bang Tao.
If you are looking at renting and you want to party, you're going to be over in Patong. If you're a digital nomad, you're going to be down in Rawai. So Phuket has its own mini communities.
If you're exercising Muay Thai or you're a digital nomad on a budget, Shillong.
Yeah.
One of the most underrated parts of Phuket for living, though, I really stress this, get yourself in Phuket town. It's such a cool vibe there. It's one of my favorite cities.
And it's not oversaturated. You walk around and you don't feel like there's too many tourists. You're not hassled by people trying to sell you stuff. In fact, a lot of it's purely luxury wine and dine kind of enjoy yourself. It's just nice to walk down there. And it's visually beautiful. It's a beautiful town.
Phuket town is visually beautiful. It's perfect for long-term expats. It's perfect for, a quick in and out, like go for a shopping day or just to walk around and have a coffee. I love Phuket town. I think it's one of the most underrated cities in Southeast Asia. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Somebody compared it to Georgetown in Malaysia. And I was just like, no, Georgetown is, sorry to say, it's dirty, cool, characteristics, amazing, but Phuket town is clean. And you don't get the amount of beggars that you do in Georgetown.
You never really see beggars in Phuket, full stop.
I've counted this year because it's something that you do take note of. If there's not many, then you're going to count them, right? I've counted 4 this year that I've seen, and I'm out and about a lot.
Yeah, you
now 4, unfortunate people like that. It's pretty good going. When you go out to different parts of the world, especially around Southeast Asia, it's more prevalent. And Philippines, I've done the Philippines recently, and yeah, that was really unsettling for me. It's one of the things that really irks me when I go back to the UK, actually, is seeing the unfortunate situations on the streets, and you don't get that in Phuket.
No, and I think it goes back to what you were saying at the beginning, which is, the locals can afford to live. Okay, they might not earn a huge salary, but they still own land, most of them, which has been passed down through their families, generational. They can physically afford to live because the rental price on some of the places in the central part of Phuket is still affordable for a local. So, they can still have a good quality of life. They're Thai, they're in Thailand, they're in Phuket. It's a beautiful place, loads of beautiful beaches. So they're still able to have a good quality of life. And comparing it to the UK, it's just complete opposite at the moment. People are struggling and it's difficult, it's challenging. I think in comparison to Bali as well, Balinese are also happy, very friendly, very caring and loving. And they're earning enough money to be able to sustain a living, which is really, really good to see. And I think that's why you don't see many beggars, because they can actually afford, obviously, to live in their hometown, their home place and country.
About the changes happening in these islands, because obviously these changes are, the more people, the higher the property price gets. And one thing that Thailand still gives is the fact that Thailand is for Thai people, Bali is for Balinese people. I think both islands have that. I would definitely say that there are more places in Phuket. There are certain places in Phuket that are foreigner centric. Like you wouldn't get a local Thai person living inside Laguna.
No,
it's foreigners only, and I get that. And then there's certain parts of Phuket where it's Thais only.
Yeah.
The Thais as well, there's such a massive middle class. Like, the average Thai person, they own a property. They own a property, or their family has property.
They have land.
They have land. And the ones that don't, they have family that do.
Yeah.
Everybody's okay.
And they're a culture that look after each other. So that's probably as well why you don't see people homeless, because they take in family members and they share their land, they share their home. They are a very most of Asia is a very well connected culture. Everyone's a brother, everyone's a sister. When you hear a Thai person saying, "Oh, that's my sister," most of the time it isn't actually, a relative of them. It's not their actual sister. It's just that's how they refer to each other, uncle, brother. Oh, that's my, dad, kind of thing. It's just, they love each other. And that's one thing that I love about the culture. And one of the reasons I wanted to move here, because you don't get that in the UK.
You don't get that anywhere.
Everyone knows their neighbor here. All the Thai people know their neighbors. In the West, no one goes out, no one talks to their neighbors. You move on to a cul-de-sac, it's very unlikely that, people are going to knock on your door and introduce themselves, and, you connect with each other and you start to do stuff, unless you've got kids maybe, but you don't get that in the UK versus what you do here.
Okay, I get it. So let's do a quick fire round. Which one wins? So Phuket or Bali, hospitals?
Phuket, easy.
Safety on the streets, Phuket or Bali?
Phuket.
Schools for families?
Phuket.
Starting a business?
Ooh, tough. It depends on your circumstances and what you want to achieve. If you are a family-orientated person and you have a family, there's better reasons to come here. If you're looking at trying to start an online business, then perhaps the digital nomad scene in Bali is better for you. Overall, if you're actually looking at setting up a company, the incentives and the taxes are far better in Thailand than they are in Indonesia. So setting up a company, Phuket, Thailand.
Okay, and cost of living, Phuket or Bali?
I would say Bali, because everything is a little bit less luxury. It depends. It's tough because Phuket offers that as well. So I would say Bali, because I think the accommodation might be a little bit cheaper depending on where you want to go. The food is relatively, cheaper, but the food isn't as good as Thailand.
Thai. Okay, so the next one.
Yeah.
Food. Phuket or Bali?
Thailand. Thai food. It's in my top 3. And it's out of anywhere in Asia, I think Thai food, or Southeast Asia anyway, Thailand, Thai food just prevails.
Locals, Phuket or Bali?
Oh, God. I have to say it's 50-50. They're both, very loving, respectable cultures. The Thai people are very warming and welcoming, as are the Indonesians. I would say it's very much on par. The big difference, though, to note is that in Thai culture, they don't speak English much versus Indonesians they can speak English far better. So that could be a deal breaker for some people.
For some people, it really could.
Yeah, and Thai language is way harder. In fact, you can't read it because of letters. But I find Indonesian Bahasa easier to learn than Thai.
I've never tried.
Well, it's phonetic, so you can literally read it in Latin letters and say the word, so you can build that memory easier. You can actually read as well, in places that you go. So you can actually learn Indonesian easier, in my opinion, than you can Thai.
Interesting. So that answered my next question, language. Living in Phuket or Bali with a family?
100% Phuket. I wouldn't consider it in Bali personally. I mean, there are some families there and they've probably got nice, big, lovely villas. So maybe, but as a whole, if I had a family, we've already talked about the schools, the hospitals, the entertainment, it's got everything that you need and would want to ensure that your kids have a healthy, happy, fun lifestyle. You can live in a condo here, like a 2 or 3 bed condo, and your kids can go down and play by the pool with other kids that are living in the condo. It's a better quality of life for raising a family here, definitely.
As a home base, using the airport as a international traveling tool, Phuket or Bali?
I would have to say Phuket. You're central part of Southeast Asia. You're a 2-hour flight from Singapore. You're an hour's flight from Bangkok. You're an hour and a half, 2 hours from Laos. You're 2 or 3 hours from Vietnam. Philippines, you're only, I think, 3, maybe 4 hours. whereas Indonesia is so far down south, or Bali so far down south, that I think the flight from Bali to Phuket is 4 hours alone. So if you are traveler minded and you wanted to go and see more of Asia, Phuket is a much better place to live.
And for those passport bros out there, finding a girlfriend, Phuket or Bali?
Phuket.
You have to say that because your girlfriend is Thai.
No, honestly, Thai culture and the Thai women, Thai people, they're lovely, and they're just so gentle, so kind, caring, and loving. And I think that's a massive appeal for most Western men when they come here, because, for me, personally speaking, my partner Jenny, she's very gentle, she's loving, she's caring, she does the cooking, cleaning, and it sounds very sexist and male dominated kind of relationship. It's not at all. She doesn't speak clear English, and I don't speak clear Thai. We have just naturally gone into our gender roles, which is me working, wanting to do better for myself, focusing on all of that, doing some of what society considers the more manly stuff. She enjoys doing the taking care of the home kind of part. She loves cooking. And I think from a Western male, where a lot of us are driven, most of us that come here are entrepreneurial minded. We want to start businesses, or we want to continue managing our finances. We want a partner that is going to bring us that peace. And Thai women, honestly, for the most part of it, they bring you peace.
I couldn't agree more.
Unless they're angry, because if they're angry, they're really angry.
It's not really a Bali versus Phuket thing. I would just basically say having a Thai girlfriend or wife, when Thai people get angry, they go silent for days. That's
what I mean. It's like it's an internal anger. So it's like you can't tell what's going on.
It's torture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Phuket versus Bali, roads.
Phuket.
Phuket versus Bali, buying a motorbike.
Buying anything in general, Phuket.
Anything, okay. Phuket versus Bali, shopping.
Phuket. Yeah, all day long.
So, okay, surfing. I'm not really a surfer, but there is some surfing in Phuket, but I don't think it would be rivaling Bali.
No, if you're looking for that kind of scene, Bali prevails, and that's why Bali is such a hot spot, especially for the Australians who love surfing. They go there on surf holiday. You get a lot of young Australian guys going over purely just to go and surf for the season or for the school holidays, because it's not far, it's great surf. So if you're looking for more of a water-based activity kind of lifestyle like that, Bali.
Beaches, Phuket versus Bali.
So Bali mainland is a lot more beautiful than Phuket, in my opinion. There's a lot of waterfalls. The scuba diving is incredible in Bali compared to Thailand. It's got some of the world's, Indonesia's renowned for scuba diving. So again, water-based activities, yes. And if you're talking about Kuta Beach in Bali, then absolutely not. It's like the Patong of Bali. But yeah, as a whole, mainland Bali is very beautiful. Lots of waterfalls, lots of nice beaches. And like I said, if you're into your marine life, then Bali.
I think Bali's more accessible to the ocean. Phuket's more yachting.
Yeah. Again, that's why it attracts different crowds. If you are that adventure kind of person that is a digital nomad and you like to do those water-based activities and you want to go and have fun, that's where Bali wins the heart of a lot of people because of that. Versus Phuket, like you say, which, if you want to jet ski and you want to have a yacht and do more of a luxury lifestyle, Phuket caters to that.
Well, I think we've established that Phuket and Bali are, not on par. Phuket's winning for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. However, if you're a young person coming to move out to Asia, I think Bali's definitely a place that you need to stop off first, mm-hmm. Maybe second.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed the podcast. We have lots of information about moving to Asia and different parts. We've got comparisons of other places as well. So make sure that you check out AsiaLifestyleMagazine.com for lots of articles and informative information and factoids, and just hit that like and share if you think somebody else would benefit from watching this video.
And leave a comment below with what you think. If you've been to both, do you agree with what we've said?
Yes. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.